Hello and welcome to the Character Forge, where the members of DungeonsDeepRPGs create and present character concepts and builds of all types and purposes. In this episode, we build the Guardian Druid, a character focused on keeping enemies occupied and soaking up damage. This build is shaped around the aura of the Guardian ability from the Oath of Redemption Paladin in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. This ability, working in conjunction with the Moon Druid's wildshape ability, creates the potential for one of the best defenders in D&D 5th edition. As always, this build is assumed to be a 20th level character with no magic items and no support from allies. Let's get right into it. This build is all about hit points, so our race needs to be one that gives us good constitution but also gives us wisdom for our druid multiclass. We decided on the Hill Dwarf because Dwarf gives +2 constitution and the Hill Dwarf subrace gives +1 wisdom. It also gives Dwarven Toughness, which gives us +1 to our hit point maximum at character creation, and an additional +1 per level. The end goal for this character is maximum constitution to boost our hit points, so our starting ability scores need to reflect that. Using point buy, we allocated our ability scores as such: 13 strength, 8 dexterity, 15 constitution, 8 intelligence, 15 wisdom, and 12 charisma. After adding our racial bonuses, we have a 17 in constitution and a 16 in wisdom for +3 bonuses in both ability scores. Your first level should be in Paladin to gain the heavy armor and shield proficiencies. You also get Lay on Hands for a pool of healing dice. Healing is essential in this build, so this is a nice early level addition to our healing abilities. Take a longsword and quarterstaff for weapons, and take chainmail and shield for an armor class of 18. Choosing Paladin at first level also gives us 10 hit points plus our constitution modifier. Add an additional 1 from Dwarven Toughness for a total of 14 hit points at first level. Second level is your first level of Druid. For cantrips, take Guidance and Shillelagh so that your quarterstaff is now more functional. Another great cantrip option would be Primal Savagery from Xanathar's Guide to Everything. It scales with your level and deals 4d10 at 17th level. For your first 2 level spells, prepare Cure Wounds and Healing Word for more healing utility. Your core hit point total at this level will be 23 since we are taking the given average hit points. At third level, take the Circle of the Moon subclass. This grants you Combat Wildshape, which means you can transform as a bonus action rather than an action. With your Moon Druid ability Circle forms, you can transform into CR1 beasts until 6th level Druid, when you can transform into beasts whose CR is equal to your Druid level divided by 3, with the caveat that you do not get a swim speed until 4th level Druid and do not get fly speed until 8th level Druid. In terms of hit points, your best option would be the Giant Hyena, which has 45 hit points, and the Rampage ability, which lets it move up to half its speed and make another attack as a bonus action when it reduces a creature to 0 hit points. But, although it only has 37 hit points, my personal preference is the Dire Wolf for its Pack Tactics ability. Your core hit points are now 32. Your total hit point maximum, which includes both uses of Wild Shape if you're using the Giant Hyena and assumes no healing has been expended, is 122. 4th level gives you 2 second level spell slots and access to 2 crucial spells, Barkskin and Healing Spirit. Barkskin allows us to have an AC of 16 for our wild shapes. Now, you can't cast spells while in wild shape, but you can still concentrate on a previously cast spell. So you'll want to cast Barkskin on yourself before you wild shape. As for Healing Spirit, well, outside of combat, it is way more powerful than it should be for a 2nd level spell. If you don't know what Healing Spirit is, follow along, kids. On page 157 of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, Healing Spirit states, "You call forth a nature spirit to soothe the wounded. The intangible spirit appears in a space that is a 5-foot cube you can see within range. The spirit looks like a transparent beast or fae, your choice. Until the spell ends, whenever you or a creature you can see moves into the spirit space for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, you can use the spirit to restore 1d6 hit points to that creature, no action required. The spirit can't heal constructs or undead. As a bonus action on your turn, you can move the spirit up to 30 feet to a space you can see. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 3rd level or higher, the healing increases by 1d6 for each slot level above 2nd. So basically, you get your party together around a transparent gorilla or dog or some shit, and take turns doing the hokey pokey or the limbo or the fucking Macarena in and out of this 5-foot cube, and they just get free health until a minute is up. A round is 6 seconds, so each player gets 10d6 of healing outside of combat, and if you upcast it to a 3rd level spell, that's 20d6. It's absolutely insane. Anyways, your core hit point total is now at 41. Your total hit point maximum is 131. At 5th level, you can now wild shape into creatures with a swim speed. This is when your wild shape choice really starts to matter, because we want to have the most hit points possible from our wild shape. At this level, the creature with the most hit points at 52 that still has land movement speed is the giant octopus. You will definitely want to cast Barkskin on yourself before you wild shape, because it only has an AC of 11. Giant octopus, though, is cool for several reasons. First of all, it has the highest hit point count of any creature we can currently B-shape into. Also, with a 15-foot reach, it has the ability to grapple a target with its tentacle attack at a DC 16 strength saves to escape. Also at 5th level, take Resilient as a feat. Resilient is a huge advantage for our build. Not only does it boost our Constitution to 18, giving us a +4 modifier, but it grants us proficiency in Constitution saving throws. This significantly improves our wild shape survivability by letting us have a higher chance of maintaining concentration on spells cast prior to wild shape, like Barkskin. Your core hit point total increases to 51. Your total hit point maximum, assuming you're the giant octopus, is 155. At 6th level, we return to our Paladin class to pick up the defensive fighting style for an AC of 19. This is mainly for when you get knocked out of wild shape one too many times, or have expended your uses of it but still have combat left to finish. You also gain access to the Paladin spell list and gain 2 1st level slots. Since we are a support character, we recommend Command and Shield of Faith. 7th level is where our build starts to take off, and we can really start to take on the mantle of Guardian. At 7th level, we take the Paladin Oath of Redemption from Xanathar's Guide to Everything. This gives you a few things: access to Oath of Redemption spells, and the Oath's Channel Divinity features Emissary of Peace and Rebuke the Violent. The 2 Oath spells you get at 3rd level Paladin are Sleep and Sanctuary. Sleep can assist in gaining control of a combat situation where you are outnumbered. Sanctuary, however, is more geared towards the purposes of our build, drawing aggression from allies. The Channel Divinity feature we are concerned with is Rebuke the Violent, which states on page 39 of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, you can use your Channel Divinity to rebuke those who use violence. Immediately after an attacker within 30 feet of you deals damage with an attack against a creature other than you, you can use your reaction to force the attacker to make a Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the attacker takes radiant damage equal to the damage it just dealt. On a successful save, it takes half as much damage. This is such an interesting ability that really makes great use of reactions, and you will want to be using this feature every round you possibly can. Your core hit point total increases to 73. Your total hit point maximum is 177. 8th level gives us an ability score improvement, which we will apply to Constitution for a score of 20 and a +5 modifier, increasing our hit points gained per level. Your core hit point total increases to 85. Your total hit point maximum is 189. At 9th level, we get extra attack, which is nice, but it doesn't add much to the purposes of this build. You gain access to 2nd level Paladin spells and 2nd level Oath spells. We recommend taking Lesser Restoration and Hold Person. Lesser Restoration is nice in situations where you are fighting a creature that can paralyze or poison. Hold Person is excellent for helping your allies score crits against humanoids and controlling the battlefield. Your core hit point total increases to 97. Your total hit point maximum is 201. 10th level grants us the passive ability Aura of Protection from the Paladin class. Anytime an ally within 10 feet of you has to make a saving throw, they get a bonus equal to your charisma modifier. Since our modifier is only +1, it isn't much, but when it comes to rolls, +1 can make all the difference. Your core hit point total increases to 109. Your total hit point maximum is 213. Finally, at 11th level, our Guardian build Druid comes online. 7th level Oath of Redemption Paladin grants us the cornerstone ability of this build, Aura of the Guardian. Page 39 of Xanathar's Guide to Everything states, starting at 7th level, you can shield others from harm at the cost of your own health. When a creature within 10 feet of you takes damage, you can use your reaction to magically take that damage, instead of that creature taking it. This feature doesn't transfer any other effects that might accompany the damage, and this damage can't be reduced in any way. At 18th level, the range of this aura increases to 30 feet. You can now use your reaction to literally take the bullet for your ally, who might be one hit away from being downed or even outright killed. When you have a huge pool of hit points and self-healing spells like the Moon Druid, you can afford to be the guardian of your allies and take the hit. Your core hit point total increases to 121. Your total hit point maximum is 225. 12th level takes us back to Druid for the rest of the build. At 12th level, we gain access to 3rd level Druid spells. We recommend Call Lightning and Plant Growth because they're just both great spells at this level. Your core hit point total increases to 132. Your total hit point maximum is 236. At 13th level, you can now transform into CR2 creatures. Most options are good at this level, but from a strictly hit point perspective, Plesiosaurus takes the cake at 68 hit points. However, the best overall option at 60 hit points is the Giant Constrictor Snake, which has 10 more feet of movement speed on land than the Plesiosaurus, and the ability to grapple a target. In addition to a new beast shape, you get the Moon Druid ability Primal Strike, which counts your attacks made in beast form as magical. Your hit point total increases to 143. Your total hit point maximum using the Giant Constrictor Snake is 263. 14th level grants you access to 4th level Druid spells. All of you veterans out there know what this means. We can now cast the infamous Polymorph. Now, before your heads explode with anticipation of what I might be suggesting, let me go ahead and pop your collective bubbles. We are not polymorphing into a T-Rex, for several reasons. First of all, it isn't even an Adventurers League legal creature for polymorph. Second of all, it's broken, and in my opinion, silly to suggest you could transform into something like that outside of a campaign featuring dinosaurs like Tomb of Annihilation. So, now that's out of the way, let's pop the other bubble you might be forming. We will not be polymorphing ourselves either, unless we absolutely have to. This is because our purpose is to soak damage intended for our allies, and we can't use our reaction abilities like Rebuke the Violent or Aura of the Guardian as a polymorph creature because Polymorph states the target's game statistics, including mental ability scores, are replaced by the statistics of the chosen beast. It retains its alignment and personality. The creature is limited in its actions that it can perform by the nature of its new form, and it can't speak, cast spells, or take any other action that requires hands or speech. Monster statistics in the Monster Manual are described as a monster's statistics, sometimes referred to as its stat block, provide the essential information that you need to run the monster. It further describes the stat block as including ability scores, speed, and actions. Actions is the key word here. The Monster Manual describes actions as, when a monster takes its action, it can choose from the options in the action section of its stat block or use one of the actions available to all creatures, such as the dash or hide action, as described in the player's handbook. Therefore, the creature only has access to the actions on its stat block. Also, if you compare Polymorph to Wildshape and the Shape Change spell, they both include this very key paragraph that Polymorph does not. You retain the benefit of any features from your class, race, or other source, and can use them if your new form is physically capable of doing so. However, you can't use any of your special senses such as dark vision unless your new form also has that sense. Because the writers decided to include this paragraph in two other changing abilities and not this particular one, leaves me to think that this was intentional. So, our official decision is that you cannot use your class abilities while polymorphed. Thanks to Black FM and Miniman on Stack Exchange for answers pertaining to this issue. So, polymorph doesn't make sense for our Guardian character. Or does it? Perhaps not for transforming ourselves, but maybe say a teammate gets downed and you still need them in the fight. This is where polymorph comes in. If your ally is 14th level like you, cast Polymorph and transform them into a giant ape who has 157 hit points, multi-attack, and some awesome damage potential. Your core hit point total increases to 154. Your total hit point maximum is 274. At 15th level, you gain another ASI. Now, at this point, we want even more hit points to stay alive longer, so take the tough feat to gain double your current level in hit points, which is 30, as well as an additional 2 hit points per level after you take the feat. Your core hit point total increases to 195. Your total hit point maximum is 315. 16th level grants you access to 5th level Druid spells. Our recommendation is Mass Cure Wounds for huge amounts of healing. Your core hit point total increases to 208. Your total hit point maximum is 328. At 17th level, you gain the ability to expend both uses of your wild shape to transform into an elemental of your choice. We highly recommend choosing the Earth Elemental. This will be your primary option for wild shape for several reasons. Although you can use it only once per short rest, its AC is 17 and has 126 hit points, which makes it much more valuable than previous beast shapes. In addition, it has damage resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical weapons, which doesn't apply during our Aura of the Guardian reaction, but does during our turn, which helps you to stay in the fight longer. It is also immune to the exhaustion, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, and unconscious conditions. It has 60 feet of dark vision, 60 feet of tremor sense, and can burrow 30 feet. It also gets multi-attack that totals in 4d8 plus 10 damage with a plus 8 to hit. And, although very situational, you deal double damage to objects and structures with its Siege Monster trait. This is by far the strongest form that you will achieve in this build. Your core hit point total increases to 221. Your total hit point maximum is 347. 18th level Druid gains you access to 6th level Druid spells. Take Heal for even more healing. Your core hit point total increases to 234. Your total hit point maximum is 360. At 19th level, you get another ASI that you are free to do what you like with. We recommend taking a wisdom score boost to improve your spell save DCs. Your core hit point total increases to 247. Your total hit point maximum with Elemental is 373. 20th level grants you access to 7th level spells. Take Regenerate for some interesting healing mechanics. Your core hit point total increases to 260. Your total hit point maximum with Earth Elemental is 386. The Guardian Druid is meant to be a damage soaker, so don't expect to be dealing too much damage, as your goal is to keep you and your allies alive, which will require nearly all of your actions for casting healing spells while in Druid form, and using all of your reactions to protect your allies. Some of the only times you will attack is when you are in Wild Shape form, as you cannot cast spells during Wild Shape. The Guardian Druid is intended to make use of its reactions with Rebuke the Violent and Aura of the Guardian abilities from the Oath of Redemption Paladin. These two abilities, working in combination with its massive pool of hit points from the Druid Wild Shape ability, makes this an amazing defense and healing support build. Well folks, that is it for today's episode of the Character Forge. Let us know what you think of our build down in the comments. If you have any ideas for builds you would like to see us cover, let us know down below. If you liked the video, hit the like button, and if you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks from all of us here at DungeonsDeepRPGs for watching. May your dice be blessed, and we'll see you next time.